And I will ask you question. Now you explain or explain me this, and if there is any problem, then I will explain to you.
Yes, yes. The first two principles I had written down. Now I am searching for them.
So when you read, you can read it loud so that I also know where exactly you are.
Okay. You know about the second basic principle: develop your pieces quickly and actively. How do you do this in practice? Let us find out. E4, E5, F3. Yeah, this is the most active square the knight can develop to. It can move up to 8 squares from the circled region. Wow. One, 1 second. Huh? It can move up to 8 squares from the circled region. Like now it is on F3. From F3, um, how it is 8 squares? I'm counting that. 1, 2, okay. 8. 1 is 2, 1 is the other right side 3. Of course, from where it came from, 6,
And
7.
and after reaching these square, then also you have access to these squares.
Yes,
So this is also they mean.
okay.
And now they are saying knight h3.
Knight edge. The knight can only move up to 4 squares from the edge of the board. That's why the knight is misplaced here. Ah, yes.
So this is
That's
also
good.
we used to discuss that we should not place
Yeah,
our knight on side of the board.
yes.
Now the second also
Knight,
example, knight e2.
knight e2. The knight is more passive on this square. Also blocks the development of the f1 bishop. Yeah.
And it's also blocking this queen, so it is blocking everything that is, and it's also not active in the center. That's why it's a passive.
See, from here also it can move to so many squares, no?
Not,
One, two. But
but
still,
comparatively less from f3.
it is passive because it's blocking also so many. Okay.
And it's not towards the center. It's still on the second rank.
Hmm. Yes, yes.
That is why, in comparison to knight h3, in comparison to knight e2, knight f3 is the best.
Hmm. Okay. Knight on c3. This is a reasonable developing move, but it's more precise because it also follows basic principle 3, bringing white one move closer to king side castling. I'll try to read this again. This is a reasonable developing move. Means it's okay, na? Reasonable development means okay, na?
Yeah, so they are saying that you should definitely go first developing this knight, knight f3,
Okay,
but knight c3 is also reasonably good move.
okay,
Now he is explaining why.
okay. More precise because, but 2 in F3 is more precise because it also follows basic principle 3, bringing white one move closer to king side castling.
So now he is explaining in comparison to knight c3, which is a reasonable move, knight f3 still stand out better move.
Okay,
And why he is saying knight c3 is a better move? Because after knight c3, we are getting closer to the king side casing. Now there is one.
Acha, our own king castling. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I am thinking the opponent what he is telling. Okay, our own king castling.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Got the point. Okay.
And in addition to development of this piece, you are also attacking this pawn, so you are threatening something souls.
Yes.
So that is why in comparison to knight c3, knight f3 is better.
Okay.
Knight c3 is not so bad, but knight f3 is still better.
Better. Yes, yes.
Now we'll see. So after knight c3, now black plays knight c6, defend this pawn. Now you can read out what is the written. No, you can
No.
read it loud so that I know where
What
you are.
was it? Okay, we finished with that. Huh? Okay, the advanced principle by threatening the for limiting black's options. Okay, in c6, knight c6. Okay, about black we are talking now. Black defends his e5 pawn from the attack while developing his knight.
Acha, one more thing you should know while reading the moves. For example, you see the difference between this move. So the move is written 2, then there are some dots, then knight c6.
Hmm.
And if you see this move, this is written 3, then dot, then bishop c4. There is no more dots. So when there are these kind of dots, it means it is a black move. And there where are no dots, it is a white move.
Like there's so many dots. There are three dots, no?
Yes.
That means black's move, huh?
Yes.
Acha, and only one of this means white move. Okay.
Like this 3 bishop b5 is white move. This 3 knight c3 is a white move. This 3,
Yes, yes.
3 dots bishop c5 is black move.
Okay.
Like for example, if I click, you will see this move they are talking.
Acha. Okay. Got it.
These are, these are some of the small things that will help you to read the chess books or these kind of games.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so now you can continue about this knight c6 move.
Okay, knight c6. Black defends the c5 pawn from the attack while developing his knight. And it's usually quite clear in the early moves where your knight should develop. But coming here, yeah, but it may take more moves before the best go for the bishop because black defends his e5 pawn from the attack while developing his knight. Okay. Be quite clear in the early moves where your knight should develop, but it may also take more moves before the best square for the bishop becomes clear. The second sentence, what is trying to tell quite clear in the early moves where your knight should develop, but it may take more moves before the best square for the bishop becomes clear. The early moves definitely is moving the knight only, no? That's what he's trying to tell, isn't it?
Yes, he is telling that only, and he is just highlighting that when you develop your knight, you may need to wait one or two moves to develop this bishop.
Yes.
That's all.
Okay. Okay. And this for white.
Yes.
Okay. Bishop on c4. Okay. White develops his bishop to the most active square possible. Okay. It has more mobility on this diagonal than after any of the other bishop moves. This is the most common move at 1600 level, known as the Italian game. Another advantage is that white is ready to castle his king to safety on the next move. Okay, we were discussing this, no? Like the same diagonal as the king.
Yes.
So,
That is why this is the most active square for bishop. In all the four directions, it is very active, and you are also ready to the castle.
yes. Okay.
And now he is giving two more options in addition to bishop c4. If you don't want to play bishop c4, you can also go for bishop b5.
Okay. Yes, the right of this, and we'll talk more about this move later. Okay.
Now the third option is knight c3. You don't play bishop c4 or bishop c5, the knight c3, other option.
or knight c3. Okay, this is more developing. However, compared to does not help white castle is king. Okay, but then generally we develop this knight before this bishop, no?
Yeah, this also you can do, but if you want to castle your king as quickly as possible,
Okay,
then you can play this. But if you want to wait, this move is also reasonably good.
okay,
No problem in this also.
okay,
Okay, after bishop c4, the black plays bishop c5.
okay.
Now you can read what is the idea.
Yes, the ideas of this move for black are the same as bishop c4 for white. He's now one move closer to castling short. Short castling, okay. What is this? 4. Just points he's giving. What is this 4?
This 4,
White.
2-0 means white castle short side, 3-0 means white castle's long side.
Okay.
So when we write the castling, we write like this O, then this line, and then O.
Okay. Okay. That means short castling, king side.
Yes.
4. Sure. White as castle is king to safety and now we can focus even more on the other principles. Acha. Okay.
Now after white castles, the black plays knight f6.
Tell you such early castling, is it correct? Some of the games you were discussing, no?
Yeah. So this is example only help us to understand the principle so that we are aware, and then based on situation we can decide.
Okay. Acha. Okay. Now 4 is knight f6 for black. Okay. f6. Black prepares king side castling by developing the knight. He also follows advance by making a threat attacking the e4 pawn.
You know, whenever
Okay.
you are reading this, you can also keep looking at the board, which position he's talking about or which.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. I'm having a look. Yes. As a black representing side casting by developing, he also follows advance in making a threat, attacking the e4 pawn. Yes. This last point is why it's better to develop the knight to f6 than any other square. Hmm. That's why it's better to go to f6 than have a square in this position. Yes. Okay.
Now, after this knight f6, white plays, for example, d3.
Mm-hmm. White defends the e4 pawn. Knight d3. I didn't get this. What is telling 5.d3 is what?
After knight f6, because this pawn was under threat, white defends it with d3.
Okay. Okay. D3 with this pawn move. Acha,
Yes.
okay. I'm looking at the bishop. Okay, this is the pawn move, d3. Okay. Right. White defends the e4 pawn by clearing the way to develop the bishop. Yes, this is fine. Most of these principles we follow in our games, right?
Yes. So now after this d3, black also castles.
Yes.
Now you,
Black is also castled his king to safety. Now we move closer to the middle game phase where both sides have their chances. I share a few possible moves for white from this position to give you a taste of the available options.
so
Okay.
after the white castles, one of the option he's suggesting is c3.
Hmm.
So we'll go to c3. The other option he's suggesting is bishop g5 that you generally play pin this knight.
Hmm.
So this you can read why bishop g5 seems better.
Because the knight on f6 cannot move safely in this position. The knight on f6 cannot move safely in this position. As then white will play bishop captures d8. What is the d? Touch is telling the position. Okay.
d8, there is a queen.
And win the queen. Yeah, and win the queen.
Yes.
Yes. This is known as pin specifically. The g5 bishop is pinning the f6 knight. g5.
Yes, so apart from bishop g5, there are certain other options that you can think. Knight c3, you can just develop your knight.
Mm.
Or so these are then black will also play d6, try to clear his way for development of his own bishop.
Mm.
So these are certain moves that help us to understand how to apply the principle in real game.
Okay.
If you have any question on any moves or any principle, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will move on to the next position.
And that's fine. Generally, we follow this only. No? Generally, most of my games are.
Oh, yes, that is why we are just revising them so that it stays in your mind fresh.
Yeah. Mm. Yes.
Yes, so now we have a few more examples. In this, we will see things relevant to the opening principles.
Okay.
So you can read whenever the moves come. I will click on the move. The pieces will move on the board. You can keep looking on the chessboard and then keep explaining to me what he's meaning.
In the previous example, we learned how to develop our pieces rapidly and actively. We also learned how to clear the way for king to castle to safety in the king. Let's now understand the dangers that can arise when one fails to protect the king against an early attack. Okay, when one fails to protect the king against an. Let's now understand the dangers that can arise when faced when the king is. Okay, e4, e5. Okay. Uh-huh.
So queen
e4,
f5. Suppose if you are playing as black and if your opponent brings queen out too early,
Hmm.
and if you are not careful as black, then what will happen? We will see.
Okay.
Yeah, you can continue reading from there. This is the
Parham attack. This is the Parham attack. Although it follows the advanced principle set for creating threats, developing the queen early has the disadvantage that the queen will often get kicked around by other pieces. The result is that white will lose time and actually lose control of the game if black defends correctly against this early attack. Yes,
and
yes,
now,
we spend
now
one.
yes. So now he is giving example how black should defend this. So black plays knight c6.
Okay, black defends the e5 pawn from the attack. Okay. You could have bought that pawn out, no g7 to 6.
g7 to g6. Let's see what happens after that. So if you play g7 to g6, you are losing the game straight away. Can you find out?
White is losing, no?
Black is losing. Even he's also shared this g6 example, why it is a disaster for black.
Oh, was there? Let me think.
Now white to move, white can straight away win something.
It will capture this pawn and give check.
So white will capture e5 and check.
Check. Yes.
And then if you block with any piece, for example, queen e7, then what white will do?
It will capture that rook on h8.
Yes.
Yes. Any piece, even with bishop also, if it comes or anything in blocks, I can capture that rook.
Yes. So you are losing your rook if you play g6.
Yes.
That is why in this position, whenever your opponent brings out his queen too early, no need to worry about anything. Just simply play knight c6, defend this pawn.
Okay.
No need to attack the queen with your pawns. Try to develop your pieces and just be careful of checkmate.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so after this knight c6, your white plays bishop c4.
One second, the first one I finished. Huh? Let me finish that paragraph. If black can defend and attack at the same time, it's a good way to take part of it doesn't work in that execution. If it doesn't defend against white's big threat. So white will take the cheat to next after purpose black the rook. Okay, the same thing which you explained. Okay.
Yes.
Check. Okay. Bishop on c4. c4. White develops his bishop. In doing so, he threatens the weakest pawn at the start of the game, their pawn. How should black defend against this? Yes.
You tell me, how will you defend this?
Against this. Now I can bring that pawn out. The g7.
Look, what about knight f6?
Knight. Okay, attacking the queen.
Is it a good move or bad move?
It's a good move. Why not bring the knight out?
You lose the game after knight f6. If you play knight f6, you lost.
Knight f6. Because this can go there and give check. The bishop can go, or even the queen. Queen can go and give check. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Now the game is over.
Again.
So that is why in this position you should be careful and play g6.
Okay.
You attack the queen, or at the same time you block this diagonal also of f7.
Yes.
And you can read out why this is the best.
Okay. g6. Okay, this is the best defense, both defending this, no more queen capture and f7 checkmate and attacking the h5 queen. Okay, queen and white threatens checkmate. Okay, now queen f3.
Now the queen goes back to f3.
Okay.
And now white threaten checkmate again from this side.
Yes.
How will you defend this?
Now it's coming here. Okay. Queen f3, where it's gone. Queen f3, white threatens checkmate again with queen. Get queen f7. Okay. Good. Now we can bring the knight out.
Yes, now you can bring your knight f6 because now this diagonal is already blocked and this queen also can't capture because this queen is defending the.
Queen is there. Hmm. Okay.
And you can read out why knight f6 is good.
Black blocks the attack on the f7 pawn. Okay, while developing more pieces. Okay.
Now white plays, for example, knight e2.
Knight.
And now he's explaining this g6 move. For example, you can read out from there the move g6.
The move g6, okay, may look weakening, but it can be used as a preparation for developing the bishop.
Bishop
Yeah,
g7.
7. Yes, yes.
So you no need to develop bishop always like this. If situation arise, you can develop on g7 also.
Yes.
And this is known as fianchetto developing bishop. Whenever bishop develop on this g2, g7, b2, b7, fianchetto.
Okay.
And is a legit.
Name of some chess player. Huh? These are all names.
Yeah, these are like very historical players. When there was no computers, they used to play like this,
Okay.
and then it became rules.
Okay. This is a legitimate way to develop the bishop in several openings. Okay. Right.
Now black plays d3
3.
to opening up diagonal for his c1 bishop.
Yes.
Now black plays d6. He also does the same, developing the white square bishop.
Okay.
Now white plays h3. Why white plays h3?
There is h3. Okay. He wants that bishop on c, no? c8. So if it comes to g4, can capture, attack the queen or anything.
Yeah, so this h3 move is preventive move. It prevent this bishop to come on g4.
Okay. Mhm.
And now the black castles.
Okay.
Now you can read what is written there
Oh,
after castles.
black has built a home for his king. Oh, great. Which is protected by all 3 pawns, the knight, the fianchetted bishop, and the rook. Yes, this makes it very difficult for white to successfully attack the black king. Okay, so many, or most of the pieces have been crowded there. Okay,
So now there is this, even though queen came out early, but the black king is very safe.
yes,
So this was the example which help us to understand how to defend when your opponent don't follow the principle and try to bring his queen out too early and try to checkmate you in the beginning only.
yes,
So this is how you can defend.
yes,
So if you don't have any questions, shall we move on to the next example?
yes, yes. You know, this is really quite typical of the king, no? Like so many piece castle quickly. Fast development in action. However, let's see how white can successfully follow the principles against another common opening, the Sicilian opening.
E4,
Sicilian defense. What's
E4,
it called?
Sicilian defense from black.
Okay.
No
E4.
need to remember name as of now, but we will see.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
after black plays c4, white plays c4, black can play c5.
Oh.
And so black is not playing e5, black is playing c5.
Hmm.
This is one of the opening that you may also come across. Some of your opponent will play. So we will learn
Yes, yes.
how to respond to this move. Okay, so you can keep reading and then we'll see.
This is the Sicilian defense. It may initially appear inferior to e5 on e5.
This was the
Yeah.
e5 that we were discussing is the best move, and it may seems that black is not following the principle, but it is also good. So he will.
Yeah. But it's actually the most common move against e4. The advantage of this move is that compared to e4, e5, and f3, where we saw e5 pawn coming under early pressure, it's much harder for white to sensibly attack the c5 pawn. Attack the c5 pawn. How that where from where that c5 came? Acha, this is that c5.
This is the c5, the first move from black.
Okay, so he's telling
That it is difficult for white to attack this c5 pawn.
okay.
Like for example, in the opening when white plays e5, if your opponent plays e4, then for white it is very easy to keep attacking this e5 pawn.
Yes.
But if your opponent plays c5, then there is very difficult for white to keep attacking this c5 pawn.
Hmm.
That is why this is also a good defense from black.
Okay. Yes. Where it's gone? It's
Okay, now after this we will see knight f3.
yeah.
You can read from there. So after this c5, the white develop his knight in a similar way, play knight f3.
So we see the advantage of in action. Still the best move for white, but doesn't threaten a pawn on e5. Meaning black has more good options.
So now he is saying earlier the e5 was there. So when white plays knight f3, it comes with a attack on e5.
Yes.
Now there is no e5, white plays c5. So now there is no threat for black. If you are playing as black, you can also play this and you will have more option to think how to develop and how to play.
Yes.
Okay, so now we will see that black.
He's telling, but still it is the best, no? Because I think only one move and that king side castling it can do. That's why he's telling her.
For white or for black?
For white.
He is telling c5 is good for black.
No, that I got it. How about this? Knight, we developed the knight, right?
For white, that principle stand that you are making way for your king.
Acha. Okay, great.
That we
Okay.
already finished.
Yes, yes. Right.
So after the c5, knight f3, and now black plays knight f6. Now you can read what he is saying of knights.
Black develops this and continues to control the central dark squares. Okay.
These are the two dark squares that this knight from c6 controls, this d4 and e5.
Yes.
And why these two dark square are important? Because these are the two dark square that this knight can reach.
Yes.
So you are preventing this knight to reach in the center.
Yeah. Okay.
So knight c6 after c5, knight c6 is the best move, but he's also sharing there can be some other moves which you may tend to play which are not good. So for example, e6. So now you can read why e6 is may not be.
There's another option for black opening of the diagonal for this king's bishop and bringing himself closer to kingside castling. After this move, it doesn't make as much sense for white to develop his f1 bishop. Okay, as it would do nothing on b5. Do nothing on, yes, that b5. Okay. Do nothing on, And also it will get kicked around by d5. White should instead go for another one, postpone the development of his f1 bishop.
Okay, so for now you can only remember, no need to waste your time in pawn moves. When you play c5, just quickly develop your knight.
Yeah, okay.
So after this, so he's just continuing how this opening may move. So after this c5, knight c3, and if black plays this e6 move, then your white can strike into the center by playing d4.
Yes.
And now suppose if black captures, then knight capture on d4.
Okay.
And now you see that the white obtained a lead in the development and space advantage. So space advantage is this pawn is controlling these many squares. Knight had already into the center and there is no single piece of black who is in the center.
Yes. He
So
has made space for bishop, queen, and one move he can go for castling. Like all these advantages are also there, no?
yes.
Mhm.
So this is the disadvantage of playing e6 in the beginning only.
Okay.
So this will be a long-term advantage for white and long-term disadvantage for black.
Black. Yes.
If you don't follow the principle that you should develop your knight first.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, and if you follow the principle and if you follow now, then knight c3. Then now white has many ways to develop the pieces from here. The most natural play being to play is bishop e2 and castle. This is known as Temuro, and you like to explore. Okay, bishop
You'd like to
b5.
explore it yourself. Okay.
Okay, so this is the beginning position. So first, just telling again. After white plays e5, black plays c5, then white plays knight f3, then black plays knight f6, and after knight f6, the white can play bishop b5.
Yes.
So now he's saying white develop his bishop to b5, pinning the black knight and prepare short casing. So this bishop b5 serving too many purposes. First, it is pinning this knight. For now, it is not pinned, but whenever this pawn moves to develop this bishop, then this knight will be pinned.
Paint. Yes.
And of course, you are making way for the your king and rook to castle.
That's it. Yes.
And he is giving another example also, bishop c4. So you can play the bishop c4 also if you don't want to play bishop c5.
Okay.
Bishop c5, this bishop development is generally less effective when black has not played e5. So what he is saying in the earlier
E5.
opening, in
Okay.
in the earlier opening when we were discussing after e4 e5 then bishop c4 is the good because this pawn has already reached to e5.
Yes.
Now he is saying that now bishop c4 may not be that strong because now the black can play e6. Now this diagonal is already blocked by this pawn.
Hmm.
He's saying now the c4 bishop, this c4 bishop is quite passive because it hits a pawn on e6 that is defended twice by these two pawns.
2 points. Yes.
So, and now the white castles, white has followed the first three principle, but now black can take control of the game by playing d5.
Hmm.
This d5 moves is very strong because it attack the bishop, it attack this pawn also, and if you capture this pawn, then this pawn will capture, and now these two pawns are very, very strong.
Hmm. Yes.
And if you try to give first check, he will simply play bishop e7, then knight f6, and then castle. So black is controlling more space in the center.
Yes.
Okay, so Yeah, so in this, this was one of the idea how to play when your opponent plays this c5 move.
Yes.
And when you come across this opening more often in your games, then we will discuss this opening more in details.
Okay.
For now, this much should make you ready to prepare and follow the basic principle and try to defend if someone play the c5 move after e4.
Okay.
So, example that you may face in your game. So it's always good to be ready to the most common played lines.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so so you can start reading there, and whenever the moves come, then we will discuss.
Yeah. It's important to understand that the opening is much more than just a transition to the middle game. There are a lot of hidden dangers lurking for both sides in the early moves of the game. Those of you who have fallen into opening traps or watched YouTube videos about opening traps will know this all too well. Here I'll show you how sometimes the most natural opening moves can also have their dangers. Okay.
So now he is discussing an example that sometimes even if you follow the opening principle and not careful and you think you are following the opening principle, everything will be fine. Sometimes your opponent may create some traps for you.
Yes.
So now we will see that example. So e4, the normal move that we are discussing. Then black plays
Okay.
e5.
Yes.
Then we play knight f3, attacking the pawn, developing a knight, making way for a king. Then black also plays knight f6. This move also you have come across in many of your games.
Yes. Yes.
So black is not playing knight c6, defending his pawn on e5. Black is playing f6.
Yes.
So now he says this is a symmetrical response. Symmetrical response means it is a equal, the similar moves that you have played.
Yeah.
So it is a symmetrical response counter attacking e4 pawn. So what black is saying, if you capture my pawn, I will capture your pawn.
Your point. Yes.
So and this is so this is known as Petrov for Russian game. It is a very solid opening for black, but only if he follows up correctly.
Correctly.
Now we
Yeah.
will see what happens in different variation. So for example, if white capture on e5.
Okay.
So now the most common and the obvious move capturing the e5 pawn. Now black can capture on e4.
Yes.
So now black continues copying the white, but here it is a mistake for tactical reason. Now he is saying that if you copy white like this, then it can be a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Now he will show you what is the mistake. The mistake is the black, the white can play queen e2. Attacking this knight, and why this is a problem? The problem for black becomes clear. His knight is under attack.
Yes.
Retreating the knight allow a powerful discovered check. Attack along the open e5. So what he is saying, if black try to open, if black try to copy white and capture, then white can play queen e2, attack this knight, and if you try to
Yes.
save this knight, then white can play this knight anywhere he wants, and then it will be a discovered attack on e5.
Yes.
This is a danger.
Mm.
So if you play knight f6, protecting the knight, but allowing something much worse, in principle, the open e file spells trouble for uncastled king, since this is uncastled, and as the queen on rook can attack the king down the open file. So now we will see what happens. Now the black can play knight c6. From knight c6, what you are doing? You are attacking the queen and at the same time giving the check.
Oh. Wow.
Now
Yes.
black cannot take the knight. So this knight cannot be captured because king is under attack.
Yes.
White queen, then the queen, if black try to defend queen e7, you don't need to capture with your queen because bishop will capture your queen. So just capture the queen with your knight.
Knight. Yes.
And white wins a queen for a knight, a decisive material advantage.
Yes.
Now it will be a very easy game for white.
Yes.
So now again we will just revise this idea. So the idea is this is e4, e5, and we develop our knight f3. If your opponent try to play this opening, he goes knight f6.
Mm.
Then you can capture on e5.
Okay.
And then if you're
This, if you are playing white only, we should do this, no?
yes, if you are playing as white, we are learning this. We will also learn if you are playing as black how to not fall into this trap.
Strap. Okay.
So after this e5, if your opponent is not careful and if he don't know how to respond, he will capture your pawn.
Yes.
And after this pawn, the trap is you play queen e2, attacking the knight.
Okay.
And when the knight defend himself, then you play, what will you play this?
Yes, we went to c6.
You will play knight
c6.
c6.
C6. Plus a discovered check.
Yes.
And the queen attack.
Yes.
Okay.
And now,
Generally, no, I bring the knight behind. Like this move, the first time I think I'm learning this.
yes.
Yeah.
So now you
So generally, if it's under attack, now I'll come back to c4 and all. Now the c6
yes.
is such a great move.
Because there is no danger. You will not lose your knight. These pawn can't capture
Yeah,
because there is a discovered check.
because it's a check. Yes.
So now if you defend with his queen, then you capture with your knight.
Yes.
So the benefit of this trap is your opponent will lose his queen.
Yes.
And then of course it will be very easy for you to attack.
Mm.
Okay, so this we learn from the white side how white should attack and take advantage of this blunder. Now we will see if you are playing as black, then how to not fall into this trap.
Okay.
So after this knight f6, knight capture on e5. Now after this knight capture on e5, you should not capture on e4. Otherwise, then this queen e2 comes.
Yes.
You should play d6.
Okay.
d6, this is the correct move, throwing the intermediate move. Intermediate move means before capturing this pawn, you can attack the knight.
Yes.
So d6 before regaining the e4 pawn. So before regaining means before capturing these e4 pawns, with then the knight f3, knight retreat, then the most natural square for knight. Now knight capture on e4. Now you can capture this knight.
Okay. But even now
Now,
the queen can come, no?
yeah, now we will see. Now black position is safe as the queen e2 is less effective than in your main line. So now if the queen comes, now we can play queen e7, defending the knight with our queen.
Queen. Okay.
And now if your opponent, what he can do, if he try to attack your knight because he seems kind of pinned, then you can play knight f6 goes back.
Yes.
And in this position, if your opponent if your opponent capture your queen, then no need to worry. You can capture with your bishop and get ready for the castle.
Yes.
So just to revise, this is the most safest option. After e4, e5, and if your opponent try to similar, let the white capture your pawn. Don't hurry in capturing on e4. First, kick the knight away.
Yes.
The idea behind kicking this knight away is you will be blocking the discover check because this knight will go back.
Mm.
And now
Yes.
queen can come there. There will be no danger of discover check.
Yeah.
Because you can block with your own queen.
Yes.
And when the knight goes back, then you capture the pawn. And then if queen e2 comes, don't defend with this pawn or this pawn.
Okay.
Because if you defend with any of the pawn, then the d3 pawn will come and you lose your knight.
Okay.
Because now even if you defend with your queen, this pawn will capture your knight.
Yes.
So that is why this knight should be defended with your queen.
Queen. Okay.
Whenever your opponent plays queen e2, you should always play queen e7.
Okay.
Because if your opponent captures your queen, you can capture with your bishop.
Bishop. Yes.
Okay, so these are the... Yeah, so in this opening, these two things you can remember, and whenever it will come in your games, we will discuss that more again.
Yes. Yes.
So that at least you know few fundamental things, and then let's see how you respond in the real game.
Yeah. First move was the rook, I think, right? And then I took move. Now because this rook is attacking my pawn, so pawn on g6, g6, g9, g6. You tell me?
You have to tell me the complete checkmate.
Okay, g6. Because now my pawn is attacked, no? So first thing I'm looking is which are the pieces under attack, pieces or pawn or whatever.
All these
Then I have to move my g5 pawn. I have to move.
all these position are for checkmate. You should try to find the checkmate.
Checkmate to no, I can move my rook there to 8, h8, rook h8, check.
You tell me the full variation.
Okay. So rook to h8, check. The king moves to 7. It can't come there. It can't be on that 8th rank. So it has to come either to only one place to go. That is on f7. So then I move my pawn to g6.
And
It can come. Can't come here. It can't come here. And this king is there, so it can't come. Yeah, that's the move. First is rook on h8. Check.
okay.
Now the king can't be on that 8th rank.
Okay.
So it has only one place. This g7 is controlled by this pawn on h6. Okay, so it can go to only one place, that is f7.
Okay.
Comes to f7, I move my pawn up. g6.
Okay.
Now the king can't go to the 8th rank because of my rook. It can't come to g because of this pawn, and it can't come to e also because of my king.
Okay.
E also it can't come. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So this is the
So
check.
the first move should be a check move. And now see what I was telling. The first move is because my pawn is being attacked.
This pawn is being attacked on g5. This point you should keep in mind, but you should see the overall position and then start from check giving moves.
First should be check giving moves, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In any position, it doesn't matter what is the position, always try to check in your own mind first check giving moves. Then, if check giving moves are not working, then find captures.
Okay.
If
This it is.
yes, if captures are also not working, then try to see the moves which can threaten something.
Yeah.
And in the same way, you can think for your opponent also. Keep calculating from where your opponent can give check to you. Then keep calculating which piece of your opponent can capture. Then keep calculating which piece or which square your opponent can threaten. And when you keep calculating like this, then you will be prepared in advance for your opponent attack.
Yeah.
So CCT will not only help you to find your own good moves, it will also help you to prevent your opponent to find his good moves.
Okay.
Okay.
In any position, it is a CCT mode only. At any given position, rather.
Yes, in any given position, you should follow that
Okay.
process.
CCT. Okay.
So now in this position, whenever you try to analyze how to find good moves, first you can observe and try to see where this king has breathing square.
Yes.
And which are the piece your side is controlling. For example, this rook is controlling the 7th rank for now.
Yeah.
And this pawn is controlling g7 square.
Okay.
And your king is controlling all of these 3 squares.
And this 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
So now you know that this king is bit stuck.
Yes.
And when your opponent king is stuck, there is always danger of checkmates. And when you understand this position that your opponent king is stuck, start trying to find check giving moves.
Okay.
And after analyzing this, then you calculating next step. What will happen if you go to rook h8 check?
Okay.
After rook h8, try to create a picture in your mind and then see from rook h8, this rook will be controlling 8th rank.
Yeah.
This king will be controlling these 3 squares.
Yes.
This pawn will be controlling this square.
Yeah.
The only square black king will have c8.
Absolutely. Okay.
And now you need to calculate after rook h8, if black goes to c8, that can you take this square away also.
Mm.
Then you can play g6 controlling the c7 square also. And now the black king does not have any square to go because the e7 square is blocked by his own bishop.
Mm.
So this is how you try to find checkmate.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one of the pattern in checkmate, that whenever you see your opponent king bit stuck, always try to find check giving moves, and whatever breathing square this king has, try to take those squares away.
Yes.
Then his king will be trapped.
Okay.
Okay, so now we will then I will share what is the main pattern and how to remember this.
Why, 1 second, I missed something. Let me see. It has a black bishop also.
Okay, just
Bishop
give me,
on.
you can tell me the answer and then I will tell you the concept.
You told me the answer. No, actually, what happened? No, we were not giving the opponent time, like, I wrote, no? So I was thinking, if I capture this can come, and queen is straight away gone. The king is under checkmate. Like, once I allowed the white to capture that, right? Answer is E1, queen E1, check.
Okay, then
It's a check, so it has to capture the queen. Rook capture on queen D. Yeah. So
now
this rook will capture C. Yeah, this rook will
now
capture in check. Where it can't go anywhere. So game over.
so it's a checkmate.
Checkmate. What I was thinking, no, if this captures, that other rook will come and all that. It was so difficult for me for this one.
So now the concept is how to how to make use of this pattern. So before trying to find good moves, you should see your opponent pieces, where they are, and especially the opponent king. Now you see in this position, the opponent king on h1 is in the corner and blocked by his own 2 pawns. And if you imagine, suppose, just imagine, just forget about the position, just imagine if you give check from any of the first rank and if there is no piece to defend or block, then it will be a checkmate because of these 2 pawns are blocking the king.
Okay.
So when you already saw that white king is blocked by his 2 pawns, then always try to reach on first rank to give check. Whenever you see this kind of position, start calculating checks on first rank.
Okay.
And this is the move. This is a typical queen sacrifice. These rooks are connected. You are forcing this rook to disconnect by capturing your queen. And now you capture with your one rook. Your one rook is enough to checkmate because the king don't have any breathing scope.
Okay.
Okay, so now in this position, just one thing. Suppose if it is yes, if it is white to move, then what will you do?
So it will capture that rook, then that also gone. It will capture this. Then what to do?
Which rook?
No, because this rook will capture. No? 1 minute. Let me think now. This one I'll have to think.
Okay, let me change this position for. Just give me 1 minute. Yes, this is the position, and we are discussing the same idea.
Same thing, no? The queen can capture that rook on 8, c8. Queen capture c8.
Tell me the full variation.
Queen capture c8.
Then
Rook on c7. Rook capture queen c8.
okay.
Then the other rook is, I have one more rook here on c1.
Okay.
So c1 capture c8 check.
Okay. Okay.
Now that king, now it's a check. This both the rooks gone and this queen also gone. So my rook is there on c8.
Okay.
Giving check to that black king. Right? It can't be on that 8th rank. It has only one place to go, h7. I have my bishop there on g6.
Okay.
So it's a
And suppose if black plays bishop d8.
black capture, no?
And
The rook can capture that.
and if he plays bishop f8.
Bishop on f8. Bishop f8 only you said, no? Previously, what did you say?
e8.
Acha, that 8. The same thing will capture, no?
Yes.
So I thought f8 I heard. Okay.
So now this is also similar example of back rank checkmate.
Yes.
Now you can capture the rook. This rook you capture with your rook. Because of this bishop controlling the only breathing square, it will be a checkmate. If this bishop from any of the square, simply capture.
Capture, yes.
This is also one of the important pattern that you have to remember.
Yes.
Okay, so now tell me the full variation.
it.
So you don't need to remember what was it. You can see the position right now and then calculate again and then tell.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I'm looking at the black king and the black this. Suddenly it will switch on. Black to play, when we say black to play, so
Yeah.
I have to think like, where's the king and all.
Where is the white
So
king?
black is attacking the white king, right? That is the okay. What was it? Which one I was moving? This one counter attack. Which pawn I have moved? I have moved, or F, D or E? Which one I have moved? D for this. Somebody get. Then it's a check. Then it can come down. Then goes down. Okay, down. Then check from the G. Here. I didn't move my rook at all, I think. I just moved my pawn. Yeah. Then this one. In the D6 pawn I've moved them. D6, what is happening? D5. One will capture. क्या था something I think totally out of my mind. E6 to E5. What is happening if it comes to E5 check? Okay, that's this guy. Okay. I can't remember what this. Did I solve this?
Yeah, you solved this.
Which one I know? Which one I know? I'm thinking.
No, you can calculate now and try to find the problem and then solve that problem.
Yes, yes. A pawn on E6, I know, I think. So we just want that pawn on E6, check. So it can't capture. So it has to go up. Then what I will do? It's not working. If the D pawn comes to 5.
In this position, the rook is, now you can think. Because
Yeah.
because when you were calculating, I was also calculating, and then I saw that rook on d2 prevent black from checkmate.
Yeah. That's why I asked, did I solve this? Impossible then to solve, no?
Then it's not a checkmate.
It's not. Now at least I should be able to do it. Mm, sure. Okay.
Now also it doesn't make it easy.
Now at least the rook can come to D, no? D3 it can come. But then how does it will be captured? So I want the king to go up. Now how it will go up? So there, it can't go there. It can't go here. Sure, check. Can't come here. If I move my E6, then what is happening? E6. King can't capture. Okay, if I move my D6, then also it's come. No, I think it is E. E6 check. Okay. So it has to come up. E6, pawn moves to E5. Yeah, so it goes up. The king goes to D5. Yeah, then I bring my rook to D3. 1 second. It comes here, check, it can't capture. Can't go down. Goes up. Okay. Only one square. Yes. E5. That's the answer.
You tell me the full variation.
E5.
E5 check.
Okay. Check. E5 check. Okay. Now the king can't capture that because the pawn on D6. And only one square available is D5.
Okay, king D5.
King D5. Then I bring my rook from G to D3 because one square khali, no. So now it is a check.
Okay.
Now the king can't go here. If the king it cannot capture this because of this pawn here. And it can't go
In
to C.
in chess, you will never say here or there. You will say the square name.
Okay, I'll tell.
Big.
Nicely, I'll tell.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I will not know which side you are talking about.
yes. E5. E5
E5
check.
check.
E5 check. Okay. King D5. Okay. After that, rook D3 check.
Okay. Now, is it a checkmate or?
Check. So checkmate or check, I should be able to tell. Okay. Yes, it's a checkmate. Why? Because king to C5 it can't go. Okay. It can't capture because of the pawn. Okay. Yeah. Rook on D3 checkmate.
Yes. So now all these squares are controlled by this pawn and these two squares are controlled by the king.
Yes.
So to
So
understand
it
this,
can't capture that pawn also, no? On
yes,
E5, it can't capture. That was the answer.
yes.
I'm
So
wondering whether how did I solve this?
yeah, because this rook was on D2, that's why rook D3 check was not working.
Yes.
So yeah, so yeah, so we will end our